Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just wanted to go over message to market fit. This is geared towards home service providers, but you can really use this regardless of what industry you're in. And what this is going to help you do is make sure your offer really resonates with the audience that you're going after. Because if you have an offer out there and you are trying to promote that offer and it's a fantastic offer, but it's to the wrong audience, it doesn't matter. It's going to be ringing on deaf ears. There's a solid example here, and I use this one quite often if any of you have ever spoken with me or anything like that. But the offer, like in the real estate market, when it was doing tremendously well back in the day, for real estate. Right now, the current time and moment, struggling a little bit. But in regards to the offer for this specific example, the offer was I'll help you sell your house with three offers above asking price, or I'll buy the house myself in 30 days. And that sort of offer back then was just fantastic. And the agent, he could sell a house in like 14 days, so it wasn't an issue. He wasn't concerned about it. Um, Now, saying that to anybody and everybody is great. It's fantastic. Everybody that's trying to sell a house would probably want that offer, right? Wrong. Not necessarily. Some people don't care how quickly they sell their house. Some people just want it on the market. When it sells, it sells. And so it's not an urgent need for them. It's not something they need at the time. They don't. It's just cool if it happens. Great. Is their whole mindset with all this. So we want to make sure something like that the person is selling them as quickly as possible, and fulfilling his services as quickly as possible. In order to actually do that and sell your service to somebody with the most efficiency out there, you want to make sure it's to the right people that need your service, want your service, and are aware that your solution will solve their problem. Obviously, there's liking you, trusting you, things like that, and making sure they're installed into that. But the core principles is, do they need it? Do they want it? And is it going to help them solve a problem? Okay, cool. Great. If that's the case, they'll move like hotcakes. So in order to do that, you have to make sure you're targeting the right people, right? If you're not targeting the right people, it's just not going to happen. So for his instance, it was going after people that were in some sort of financial distress, foreclosures, divorces, anything in regards to where that house now becomes a liability instead of an asset, which, in my opinion, homes are always going to be a liability unless you're making money off of it. But that's a whole other story. Anyway, so that being said, that's how you make sure your message to market fit is actually dialed in. So I'm going to walk through some key points. There's about 4 or 5 key points in here, that really go over how to actually do this correctly and to streamline the approach for you. So the first thing you want to do is you want to identify any certain pain points that your audience, the people you're trying to help, you don't even have them identified yet. But what are some problems the people that you're trying to help are experiencing typically? Like, you have to think about it. Like, what does your solution provide? What sort of problems does it solve? And think about it from that sort of aspect. You know, and I put some examples here based on the home service industry. So it's things like, a lot of watching this are in the home service space. Whether you're a roofer, whether you're a plumber, uh, flooring contractor, whatever the case is here, a lot of people try to do it themselves initially. They try to go on YouTube something and they just take it down and found out that they just totally messed it up. So some pain points, like, trying to do it themselves, spending days trying to figure out how to do a 2-hour job or a 3-hour job. Safety concerns, they don't know what the hell they're doing. So these are some other pain points that they're going through. They're hurting themselves trying to figure shit out. Lack of expertise and tools, they don't have the right stuff. They're constantly going back and forth to Home Depot. I know that. I've done that before. I was like, I got the wrong tool, or I thought I had the right tool. Apparently it wasn't the right tool. So they're constantly, going back and forth because they lack the proper tools. And they don't know which one is the proper tool once they go and get it. It looks right according to the video that they saw on YouTube. And then, inconvenience, obviously. Something came up, they like their dishwasher, not dishwasher. Mine was a washing machine, not a washing machine for my clothes and all that. And it sucked. So I needed to wash my clothes. But that was inconvenient for me because it broke down when I'd waited like 3 weeks from washing my clothes. That was terrible, terrible. Last big learning experience for me. So these are pain points that people that they go through, right? And so, you want to make sure you have that dialed in and listing out the certain problems that your solution actually solves. And then you want to find out, who goes through those problems typically. Now, the correct order would be like, this is going to really help you identify. It's kind of like two-way street on this one. Because there's a lot of people that say you need to identify your audience first and then build your solution based on that. But if there is a specific problem that you solve, and you know that's what you solve, you know that's what you do, find the audience that typically experiences that. And then start digging more into how that audience, like what that audience actually goes through even more. So hopefully that makes sense, because you really do need to find out who your audience is first and foremost. And the way you do that are figuring out the problems that you typically solve. Like me, a perfect example. The problem I solve is helping people that don't know how to get their own leads coming through, that don't know how to develop a marketing message, and getting them to understand how to do this correctly so they can get in front of more potential clients, to get in front of strangers and make them become customers. Does that make sense? So, and when it comes to the audience, it can be a wide variety of different people in there. I just have to narrow it down from that point and then figure out what specifically do these people go through in regards to the problems that I solve, and then gear it towards them. So it's the same concept here with what you guys do, depending whether it's, roofing, plumbing again, if you're doing flooring, landscaping, whatever the case is, lighting fixtures, high-end lighting fixtures, whatever. You have to figure out the solution that you provide and then dig deep into that and then find that audience. And then you focus on that audience like white on rice. Get on that audience and just focus on them. And make sure that what you're crafting out in your message is you want to make sure that they're problem aware and solution aware. That's what your message is supposed to resolve. If your audience is not problem aware, it's not saying you can't help them. It's one of those situations, like, let's say it's somebody you can work with, but they're like, oh, that's cool, man. Like, I really don't I don't need that right now. Let's say it's like, let's do plumbing as an example. I noticed this leak coming. We had a huge snowstorm as an example, and now I'm noticing this constant leak from the back end of my toilet, like from the pipes and all that, right? And let's just say I'm like kind of rubbing it off. Like, oh, that's cool. I'll just turn it on and off, whatever, no big deal. Just to, avoid the leaks, for whatever reason. I feel like I could figure it out later. Well, it's like, dig a little bit deeper. Yeah, sure, I might be stopping that leak from the outside. And maybe I don't know this because I'm not educated on this aspect. But let's say that when it froze over, it caused the water in the pipes to freeze, caused them to rupture. I don't know this yet. And underneath the foundation, where I can't see anything, behind the walls where the pipe's going, there's a leak going on. It just happens to come out where the shutoff valve is, because I can physically see it there. It doesn't mean I can see behind all the other things. And then once you educate me on something, letting me know, like, hey, it could be potentially from this, like through an educational video, walking them through, hey, are you experiencing a leak? And it just, keeps going off, and for whatever reason, it just started randomly. Hey, you might want to look at this then. Dig a little further, because you might have a potentially bigger issue than what you think. And then before you know it, you're explaining how, from when things freeze over, pipes can rupture, and then you can have a bigger issue if you don't fix it foundationally, from like everything in the concept of the home just going to rubbish. So that's something you want to. That's how you make somebody who's not problem aware now. So and then at that point, you are now the solution, because you're the one that brought up that problem and got them to think about it. And now they're like, oh, this dude's smart. He definitely must know how to fix it. So then, boom, now they're solution aware. They might not know how to do it specifically themselves, which is great. You don't want them to, because you want to actually go fix it for them. But and that's the other thing. Like, you provide the value. Let them know exactly how to fix it. That way, if they want to, they can try it themselves. Chances are, there's two things that you have going for you when you're in this process of making them problem aware as well as solution aware. And that's you explaining exactly how to fix it. The first thing is, people are naturally lazy because they're naturally busy with things they think they should be busy with, which sometimes they are really not as busy as they think they are. But to them, they are busy. And so they don't want to set the time aside to go to Home Depot and spend 4 or 5, 6 hours trying to figure out how to fix this thing. And that 4 or 5, 6 hours actually turns into 3, 4 days to a week to 2 weeks. Who knows? And then further damage on top of that. And so that's one thing you have going for you. Second thing is some people, a lot of people actually would rather have a professional go out there and do it because they don't want to figure out and learn how to do these things. It's just not something in their nature, and they know that. They have this comfortable feeling, and they would rather go and hire somebody. It's the ones that are typically tight with money, not tight with money, but they're like, they hold it close to them, and they're like, hey, I'm not letting go. Those people that are the ones that try to do things themselves. So anyway, so making somebody problem aware and solution aware is very, very important. And just some examples here, like when you're speaking in a message, any message, whether it's an actual offer, or whether you're explaining like a little video like this, you just talk to them, be like, hey, are you tired of XYZ XYZ that's making constant little dribbling noise at night? Did you ever consider that's possibly a leaky faucet? What if I told you that leaky faucet, if you don't do anything about this, could potentially be a $5,000 repair issue in the future? Let's say in about 2 or 3 weeks. What would you do then? And if you did something like that as an example and approached a problem like that, then that's going to be something that's going to really make them tune in and pay attention. Oh, my thing froze. Hopefully it's good now. But anyway, so, and then the other thing here, and I know somebody personally who did this. Don't waste your weekend trying to fix a kitchen sink that's doing something that you don't know what it's doing. And then all of a sudden it's spraying across the entire house. And now you got to shut down your entire house's water supply just to stop that kitchen sink from spraying across the room. We can help. True story. True story that happened last week to somebody I know. So yeah, he tried to fix it himself. But anyways, so I moved my face. I keep looking down right there, and I think it's kind of annoying. So anyways, identify the target audience is the third thing. So once you're aware of the pain points that they're going through and the problems that you need to address to make them aware, as well as the solution that fixes that problem, you find, okay, cool. Who are the people that go through this problem typically? Especially with you when you're figuring out a certain sort of situation for who you're trying to help. Now, specifically, do you want to, and this is where you can actually dial in based on who you prefer, as well as who goes through these problems. Homeowners versus renters, residential versus commercial as an example, constructions, older properties, newer properties, new construction that's going up, things of that nature, DIYers looking for guidance, and those wanting full service as an example. Because you can actually, it depends on your sort of service on what you actually do, but you can actually go out there and quote unquote coach people how to fix a problem without you actually being there. But hey, you really want to fix this problem? Oh, here's a little guide. Take this. If you don't want to pay $400 or $1,000 or $2,400, here's this. It's $100. It's going to walk you through exactly what you need. You have my support for the next week. Just ping me. I'll let you know how to fix this thing. Whatever you want to do. Something like that. If you're offering that support for like a week though, and you're going to be at your disposal to them, now we charge more than $100, maybe like $250 or something like that. Something that's going to be more valuable to you, where they set a time to go through and they fix it themselves. But anyways, just an idea out there for those who are trying to figure out how to do like, not necessarily coaching, but something in the regards of home service coaching. Because I was thinking about that a while ago. Like the thing with home services is the disadvantage when it comes to marketing for you guys. Y'all don't really have the opportunity to do very much organically in regards to content creation. Like you can attract a lot of people to trust you and like what you do, but you'll need to have an online offer typically for something like that where you can help people from a distance, because since you're going to be nationally and worldwide potentially when you're doing content like that, it's not going to always be zoned in on your local areas. So when you're doing content creation, that's not the same thing as advertisements. So anyways, just kind of throwing that in there. But anyways, identifying your target audience before we sidetrack too much. You want to know all this because you can focus now on the people you want to go after, right? Again, residential versus commercial. You're working on apartment complexes versus single family dwellings, things like that. And it's all going to just depend on preference. And then also like the magnitude of what that problem can solve. If somebody's having piping issues and it's an apartment complex, that's obviously going to cost them a lot more money if they don't fix it. It's going to be a potential loss that they're going to have if they don't fix that issue. And it's going to be a huge loss. Versus a single family dwelling, it's going to be a huge hit for them because it's a single family dwelling. But still, the property, they see it's going to be costing them 5 figures or more to fix the problem. They're going to want to go out there and handle that. So that's what's going to really determine what you like to focus on. Do you want to make and everybody knows those bigger deals, commercials, depending on how big the complexes are. If it's like a family-owned complex, the deals don't take long to go through. If it's a corporate-owned complex, it's owned by Camden Gardens, anything like that as an example, then yeah, it's going to be huge. You talk to the property manager, they have to bump it up the chain, and it takes a little bit longer to close those deals. But it's all in preference, and then you have to learn how to market your actual message to those people. So, which that comes in here, crafting a compelling offer. You want to address the specific problem, and again, it's what we went through. Hey, fix that annoying little drip going off at night that's keeping you up without. And then you want to highlight the ease of your service. So again, we're going to run through this before I go through these specific topics. So highlight the ease of your service is the next step. First, address the specific problem. Hey, fix XYZ problem, that annoying drip going off at night, without, and then you put the ease of your service, buying expensive tools, without making multiple trips to the store, without turning a 3-hour job into a 2-week-long job without your washing machine, like whatever the case may be from there. And then from there, you want to emphasize the value proposition. You want to emphasize without making multiple trips to the store. Let the professionals result without the hassle. Expert solutions, zero mess, zero destruction. Well, I'm not going to say zero destruction. Sometimes you have to tear into the walls. Zero expansion of the mess. It doesn't extend in regards to getting worse because you stop it. You're the barrier. You're the defense. Anyways, so include a clear call to action as well, which at that point you want to say, hey, click here for a limited discount or book now and get some sort of bonus or some sort of free inspection, quote, whatever you want to do, analysis, some sort of survey, whatever the case is at that point, and get them bought in, which you can play around with it. These aren't like the best ones out there. These are just some quick ones I put down just because it's quick and easy to put in there. But really think about how you can make your service valuable. And especially today, get creative. Get very, very creative. Like, again, back to coaching concepts. Like, get a free bonus. Get my guidance if you're trying to fix it yourself for the next week at no extra cost. Chances are they're not going to fix it. And if they are, then they're going to, you're going to help fix it. And you can even do something like that. I've seen somebody do something very interesting. And I haven't seen this besides this one time, but the dude was like, his offer was it was very risk reversal. If you fix it yourself, then you won't have to pay me the $2,400. That's an example. Let's say that's not how much it costs. Just throwing those numbers out there. But if you fix it yourself and you let me guide you through it, you only have to pay me $250. And I guarantee you that I'll make sure you can fix it. Now you'll have to get some other tools on stuff. He told them, he's like, you have to get other tools and stuff like that. You have to be ready for all that. It could cost you anywhere from $50 extra to $150 extra. I don't know. Just depends what tools you have. And so, something like that. And the minimal wear, and they're like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. And so they learned how to actually fix it. He walked them through, and they got it done fairly quickly, and he just guided them through. He didn't have to do any work. He just kind of just sat there. And he actually wasn't even there the entire time, but basically told him how to do it, followed the instructions, and what he could do after that, after walking, that was his first person he ever did anything like that to. And then after that, he was able to actually craft out a little how-to thing, and he's like throwing it out to people for a little extra cost, and versus actually having to go out there and fix it. He's like, hey, well, instead, if you're really if you're really savvy with home improvement, and you feel like you can actually fix this stuff, then here, why don't you take this? Just $75. And he wouldn't even do it. He didn't offer his support, didn't do anything. He's just like, this is a how-to. I know exactly what you're going through. Boom. So simple as that. And it wasn't $75. It's just throwing that number two out there. I don't know how much he charged for it, but it's something he ended up developing. So it's pretty cool. Anyways, so clear call to action. Click here for a limited discount as an example. And then make sure your service stands out. And the way you do that is through putting everything together and highlighting your unique selling proposition to them. So 24/7 service, decades of experience. We only use eco-friendly materials. These are examples that everybody uses, frankly, and they don't really help you stick out that much. So the one thing you need to make sure you do is actually use something that really sticks out. I meant to actually put in here not. these. So this is one thing you don't want. Decades. Nobody cares. Nobody cares how long. Like I don't know the last time somebody ever said, "I chose a company because they had decades of experience," or altogether they have 52 years plus of experience altogether. Like, I've never heard anybody say that. I've heard people say like they had great reviews. They had a offer that made me feel comfortable. Like it was totally risk free, whatever the case is. I've never heard anybody say. I've never heard anybody say we only use eco-friendly material. Now, if you, I'm not saying this can't work. This can work if you are targeting the people that are eco-friendly. If that's all you're targeting, that's the first thing they look for usually. So in that case, yeah, have at it. Use this one all day long, because those people make decisions solely on that. They're like they're married to their belief. And anybody watching that, no, that's your how you function. That's totally cool. I don't do that, but yeah. Struggling with the anyway, so anyways, and then you want to do a template example. Struggling with a certain kind of problem, constantly clogging a sink, something like that as an example is what would be written down. And then tell them even further. Again, we're putting this is pretty much how the without part is going to start kicking in. Don't waste your weekend and money on temporary fixes. Get a professional to result, and I would actually make that like because you're going to be doing like an ad as an example when you're doing this. I would make that in capitalized, temporary, all caps. Get professional results without the mess or stress. Click now for XYZ bonus, discount, whatever the case is, free drain health check. Trust blank company where quality meets convenience. Now, what this part is here, and this is what's going to be part of making your service stand out with the unique selling points. This is going to be like your logo, not your logo, your slogan, more or less. So trust your company where, whatever your company name is, and then your slogan. A good example would be watch leads flow, because that'll make your business grow. Corny, people are going to remember it. So something corny, something catchy, short and sweet. Don't do anything like where quality meets perfection. Nobody cares about that. That's cheesy. And it reminds me, when you say something like that, it's very similar to saying, it's very similar to those Hollywood movies that are, those action movies like, that tried to mimic Rambo and stuff like that back in the day. And then you see all these like little films of like the person having big explosions in the background, just standing there head held high, like, and big explosions, wind blowing in their face, like they're the boss and all that, you know. That's what that reminds me of. So make it catchy, make it corny. Corny and catchy really stick out, and it really makes people remember you. Egotistical, saying you're perfect, all this other stuff, does not. It ends up making people more turned away. And there's really nothing to remember about it. Like, you think about it, what are some of the songs that you remember in your head? What are some of the tunes you remember in your head? They're goofy. You don't know why you remembered them. You find yourself humming them randomly. Like, remember when what was that song? That little Baby Shark song, when that went out, like, dude, everybody was humming it. They didn't even know they were humming it. They were. And then all of a sudden it becomes a big remix. Like, dude, like, okay, find something corny, catchy, and boom, you're good. So anyways, and then just a little note right there, by following this blueprint, the home service provider can create targeted, compelling ads that speak directly to your potential customers' needs and concerns. And that's exactly the whole point of this. The whole point is to speak, again, message to market fit, exactly what this title is up here. And that's what writing a compelling ad that speaks directly to your customers' needs and concerns is all about. So, now when you do that, you're going to get feedback from the market, right? Like my videos, I get feedback all the time saying like, they liked it, they didn't like it, they want me to go back a certain way, they like my old methods versus my new methods. I tried a while doing like different style of reels where it was a minute long and just some 60-second insights, stuff like that. People didn't really like that. They missed just these simple Loom videos walking through stuff. Some people say they're too long, but hey, a majority of them like the extensiveness of it. Obviously, they wouldn't like an hour-long one, but something like this. Anyways, so what that allows you, the point I'm getting to is that allows you to make adjustments on your services, on your offers, on where you're focusing. Because you are doing certain locational areas, you can actually specify on different regions. Like, let's say that you notice most of your clients are coming from the north versus the south. Sounds like a war movie. But anyways, let's say you notice that you have more client service coming from the northern area of your city versus anybody coming from, Midwest or south of your city, right? So you'd want to focus you want to look at it first. Like, okay, so where are we marketing to? And if you're like, oh, okay, we're marketing to the north, that's why. And maybe you're getting most of your service there, but maybe it's lower quality. Like you notice you're getting a lot of your good quality from the Midwest. All right, cool. Well, if that's the case, let's start pushing more ads to the Midwest. It's going to allow you to see that stuff. Now let's just say you're letting your advertisements do its thing because they have pixels. They have these things that allow you to get data and determine itself where your best market is based on conversions and stuff like that. So let's say you do discover it's the north, but you're pushing ads all around, and you're like, okay, cool. We found out that the north is actually doing really well. Let's keep this going so it can keep learning and keep doing its thing, and let's just make a separate ad campaign focusing on the north. That's it. Boom. And now let's eliminate this pocket right here where the north is included and just focus on the rest of the territories. So it have its own. Let's see who the next best buyer is, as an example. And then boom. That's how you make adjustments. That's just one way. There's many ways you make adjustments, but that's just one way. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions over this, let me know. I can actually send you this document if it's something that you have any interest in having. It's just a little guide, nothing fancy. But let me know, and we'll go from there.